Admiral Day looked at the shimmering message from the Galactic Council. The blue light cast shadows across his stern face as he read the warning about humans. These creatures from the planet Earth were supposedly dangerous, but their ships were slow and their weapons primitive. Ridiculous, he muttered, turning to Director Hana, who stood nearby. The Council grows fearful of shadows. Hana's silver eyes reflected concern. The warning seems quite specific, Admiral. The Council rarely interferes with our expansion. The Bektu Confederacy had grown powerful through conquest. 5 species united under one banner. They had claimed 17 planetary systems in the past cycle alone. Their technology was centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. Their ships could cross vast distances that humans could only dream about in their fiction. Have you reviewed the data on these humans? Day asked, bringing up images of Earth on the main screen. Yes, Admiral. They fight constantly among themselves. Their weapons are crude. But the Council notes their unusual adaptability and problem-solving. Abilities? Hana replied. Day walked to the observation window. Beyond the glass, hundreds of Bektu warships gathered in formation. The invasion fleet was impressive. Sleek vessels with powerful energy weapons and shields that could withstand any Earth weapon. The Council grows too careful in its old age, Day said. These humans will make useful workers once properly trained. Perhaps soldiers too. Their world has resources we need. Hana stepped forward. Admiral, the Council's warning mentioned something unusual about human psychology. They apparently respond to threats differently than most species. All species respond to superior force, Director. Day replied coldly. Prepare the first wave. 3 scout ships will assess their defenses, then we strike their major cities simultaneously. Officer June entered the command room carrying reports. The scout ships are ready, Admiral. The captains await your orders. Day nodded. Tell them to remain undetected. Study the humans' communication systems and military capabilities. Report. Back in 2 days. Later that evening, Hana found Day in the strategy room. Detailed maps of Earth covered the screens as he planned the invasion. Admiral, I've been studying the Council's full report, Hana said. They classify humans as a level 4 risk. That's usually reserved for species with unpredictable development curves. The Council exaggerates, Day responded without looking up. Remember their warnings about the Talari? We conquered them in a week. The Talari weren't like these humans, Hana persisted. Look at their history. They advance rapidly through crisis. Their technology has evolved faster than any species we've encountered. Day turned to face her. Are you questioning my decision, Director? I'm suggesting caution, Admiral. Perhaps we should observe longer before attacking. The communication system chimed. Officer Jun's face appeared on screen. Admiral, the scout ships have completed their first orbital pass. They report minimal space defenses and easily penetrated detection systems. You see? Day smiled at Hana. These humans won't know what hit them. 3 days later, the Invasion Council gathered. Fleet commanders and science directors filled the large chamber aboard Day's flagship. Holograms showed Earth from various angles. The attack plan is simple, Day explained. We target their 20 largest population centers simultaneously. Their governments will surrender within hours. Commander Min raised his hand. What about the Council's warning, Admiral? Should we prepare for unexpected resistance? The Council fears what it doesn't understand, Day replied. Our forces are overwhelming. Victory is certain. As the meeting ended, Hana approached Day privately. Admiral, one last appeal. The Council has studied humans for centuries. Their warning mentioned that humans become more dangerous when threatened, not less. All species fight harder when cornered. Dee dismissed her concern. Then they break. But what if humans don't break? Hana asked quietly. Day stared at her. Everyone breaks, Director. Now return to your post. The invasion begins tomorrow. That night, as the massive fleet moved into position around Earth, Day received a final communication from the Galactic Council. The message was brief. Reconsider your action against Sol 3. Humans' response to existential threats defies conventional analysis. This is our final warning. Day deleted the message without responding. He watched Earth growing larger on his view screen, a blue planet spinning peacefully, unaware of what approached. They will make useful subjects, he said to himself, and the Council will see that their warnings were unnecessary. The invasion fleet entered Earth's detection range at dawn. The first shots of a war that would reshape the galaxy were about to be fired. Neither Admiral Day nor any member of the Bekdu Confederacy could imagine what would follow. Admiral Day stood motionless before the large screen on his command ship. The attack on Earth had begun 6 hours ago, but nothing was going according to plan. "Explain this," he said quietly to Commander Min, who looked equally confused. "The humans should have surrendered by now," Min replied, reviewing the battle. "Data. We destroyed their largest military bases in the first wave." The screen showed scenes from around Earth. Instead of panic and surrender, humans were organizing with surprising speed. In some cities, they had already formed defense groups, using strange tactics that confused the Bekdu battle computers. "Show me New York again," Day ordered. The image shifted to a major human city where Bekdu forces had landed expecting to take control. Instead, the humans had flooded their own subway tunnels, trapping alien soldiers underground. Above ground, they fought with a mix of military and civilian weapons, falling back only to lead Bekdu troops into carefully planned traps. "This makes no sense," Day muttered. "Their weapons are primitive. How are they causing so much damage?" Director Hana entered the command center, her face grim. "Admiral, we've lost contact with Landing Force 3 in the region called Europe." "Impossible," Day snapped. "They had our best soldiers and equipment." "The humans discovered a weakness in our communication systems," Hana explained. "They're using our own signals against us, creating confusion among our troops." A young officer approached with new reports. "Admiral, the human governments have united. They're sharing technology and strategies worldwide." Dai slammed his fist. On the console, "They were fighting each other just days ago. How can they suddenly work together?" "It appears external threats unite them," Hana said quietly, just as the Council warned. 3 days later, the situation had grown worse. Day called an emergency meeting with his commanders. Their faces showed exhaustion and confusion. "Our landing forces are facing unexpected resistance," Commander Min reported. "The humans adapt to our tactics almost immediately. They've already captured some of our weapons and are learning to use them." "That should be impossible," Day insisted. "Our technology is protected against unauthorized users." "Somehow they bypassed the safeguards," Min replied. "Their scientists work at incredible speed when pressured." Commander Tay entered the room, late, her uniform dirty and torn. She had just returned from leading ground forces in a region called Asia. "Admiral, we must reconsider our approach," she said without formal greeting. "The humans fight like nothing we've encountered before." "Explain," Day ordered. "They don't follow normal patterns," Tay said. "When we destroy their cities, they don't surrender. They fight harder. They use their own destroyed buildings as traps. They sacrifice small groups to learn our weapons and tactics." "What about the prisoners?" Day asked. Tay's expression darkened. "That's even stranger. They resist questioning in ways our experts don't understand. Some even laugh during interrogation." "Laugh?" Day repeated, confused. "Yes, Admiral. And worse. The prisoners we captured 3 days ago. Some have already escaped. They're adapting to our security systems." Day turned away, trying to hide his growing concern. The invasion force included over 300 ships and millions of soldiers. Victory should have been certain. Now his commanders spoke of humans as if they were some unstoppable force. "Show me the worldwide situation," he ordered. The main screen displayed a map of Earth. Red dots marked Bekdu-controlled areas while blue showed human resistance. There was far too much blue. "This cannot continue," Day said firmly. "Prepare our orbital weapons. We'll destroy their major cities from space." Director Hana stepped forward. "Admiral, I must formally object. The Council specifically prohibited planetary bombardment of developing worlds." "The Council isn't here," Day snapped. "I will not accept defeat from these primitives." Before Hana could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Officer June rushed into the command center. Admiral, 3 of our orbital platforms have been destroyed. By what? Day demanded. Humans have no space weapons. They've modified our own technology, Jun explained, showing images on a small screen. They captured one of our scout ships and somehow launched it back into orbit. They're using our weapons against us. Day stared in disbelief at the footage. A crude human space vessel, partly built from stolen Baekdu technology, was attacking his fleet. It moved in unpredictable patterns that confused the automated defense systems. How long did it take them to do this? He asked, his voice barely audible. 8 days, Admiral, Hana answered. They've achieved in days what should take years. As they watched, another alarm sounded. A transmission was forcing its way through their communication system. A human face appeared on screen, wearing what appeared to be a military uniform. This is General Kim of Earth's United Defense Force, the human announced. Your invasion has failed. Leave our planet immediately, or face destruction. Day cut the transmission, his face dark with anger. Prepare all weapons. This isn't over. But, looking at his commanders' faces, he saw something he'd never expected. Doubt. 6 months had passed since the Baekdu Confederacy's invasion of Earth began. Admiral Day stood by the viewport of his command ship, watching as another of his vessels erupted in flames. The bright explosion reflected in his tired eyes as the ship broke apart in Earth's orbit. That was the 5th cruiser we've lost this week, Officer Jun reported, his voice strained. The humans have completely reversed our initial advantage. Day turned away from the viewport. His command center, once a place of confident planning, now felt like a tomb. Screens displayed retreating Baekdu forces across Earth's surface. Maps showed human counterattacks growing bolder each day. How did this happen? Day asked, though he no longer expected a satisfying answer. Director Hana, who had warned him from the beginning, spoke carefully. The humans learn and adapt faster than any species we've encountered. They don't think like us. Day walked to the strategy table where a hologram showed Earth's continents. Show me their latest advances. The image changed to display new human weapons. They had taken captured Baekdu technology and modified it in ways that made no sense to Baekdu engineers. Where Baekdu designed with elegant precision, humans created rough but effective hybrids of their own technology, combined with stolen alien parts. Their scientists have broken our encryption codes, Commander Min reported. They're intercepting our communications and feeding us false information. Impossible, Dai muttered. Our codes are mathematically unbreakable. The humans didn't break the math, Hana explained. They found a completely different approach that our security experts never considered. Suddenly, all screens in the command center flickered. The Baekdu communication system activated without authorization. A human face appeared, a woman with calm, determined eyes wearing a military uniform. This is General Kim of the United Earth Defense Force, she announced. I'm speaking directly to Admiral Day. Day stared in shock. How did they know his name? How were they broadcasting on secure channels? We now control all your communication networks, General Kim continued. We understand your technology better than you expected. We know about your homeworld's vulnerability to specific radiation patterns. We've mapped your supply lines and command structure. The command center fell silent. Officers looked to Day with growing fear. Your options are simple, the human general stated. Withdraw all forces from our solar system immediately, or face extinction. You have 6 hours to decide. The transmission ended abruptly. Before anyone could speak, another message appeared, this one from the Galactic Council. Final warning, it read. Disengage from human territories immediately or face the consequences alone. The Council will not intervene if you continue this unauthorized action. Day sank into his command chair. How did they advance so quickly? It should have taken them centuries to understand our technology. Necessity, Hana said simply. The Council warned us about this specific trait. When threatened with extinction, humans achieve impossible things. Commander Tay entered the command center. Her once pristine uniform was now patched and worn. She had been leading the ground forces that were rapidly losing territory. "Admiral, we must withdraw," she said without formality. "The humans have developed biological weapons that target only our species. They've studied our physiology and created viruses that ignore their own people, but devastate ours." "That would require advanced genetic engineering," Day protested. "They didn't have it 6 months ago," Tay replied. "They developed it while fighting us. Their scientists work around the clock in hidden facilities. They share information globally in ways we never anticipated." Officer June approached with new reports. "Admiral, human ships have been detected near the warp gateway. They've adapted our engine designs and created their own interstellar vessels." "In 6 months?" Day whispered, the full weight of his mistake finally settling on him. "They're preparing to take the fight to our territories," June continued. "They've already scouted the nearest Bekdu colony worlds." Day looked around at his officers. He saw the same question in all their eyes. Should they retreat and face disgrace, or continue and risk something far worse? Pride kept him from accepting defeat. "Prepare our remaining forces. We will launch a final offensive against their major command centers." Director Hana stepped forward. "Admiral, with respect, that would be suicide. The humans now outnumber and outmaneuver us. They've studied our tactics and can predict our strategies." "I will not retreat from primitives," Day shouted, losing his composure. The communication system activated again. General Kim reappeared, but this time she wasn't alone. Behind her stood leaders from around Earth, a united front of humans from different nations and backgrounds. "Your time is running out, Admiral," she said calmly. "We've detected your fleet movements. We know you're planning another attack." One of the human leaders stepped forward. "We've already launched our counteroffensive. Your homeworlds will receive our message within hours." The screen switched to show human ships, crude but powerful vessels combining Earth and Bekdu. Technology, moving toward the warp gateway that led to Bekdu territory. When the transmission ended, Day stood in stunned silence. The Council had warned him about human adaptability, about their unique response to threats. He hadn't listened. Now his civilization would pay the price. "Send the retreat signal," he finally ordered, his voice hollow. "All forces withdraw." But, even as the order went out, he wondered if it was already too late. The sky above the Bekdu homeworld burned red with fire. Human ships built from modified Bekdu technology moved through the defense network with shocking ease. Where once the 5 planets of the Confederacy had seemed untouchable, now they lay exposed and vulnerable. Admiral Day sat alone in his emergency bunker deep beneath the capital city. Screens around him showed the rapid collapse of the once mighty Bekdu civilization. 3 of their 5 homeworlds were already under human control. The remaining 2, including his own, would not last much longer. "Admiral," Director Hana's voice came through the communication system. She had remained on the command ship until the end. "The humans have broken through the final orbital defense ring." Day could barely respond. How? How could they do this in such a short time? "They didn't follow any path we could have predicted," Hana replied. "Their ships use a combination of our technology and their own ideas. They found weaknesses in our systems that we never knew existed." A soldier entered the bunker with emergency reports. The young officer's hand shook as he placed them before Day. "The human forces have landed in the western continent," he reported. "They're moving toward the capital." "What about our ground defenses?" Day asked. "Failing, Admiral. The humans brought something new, microscopic organisms that target only our biology. They spread through air and water." Day remembered the Council's warning about human adaptability. They had mentioned humans' unusual relationship with their own planet's microorganisms. Now they had weaponized that knowledge. "Have we received any response to our surrender transmission?" Day asked. The soldier looked down. "Nothing official, Admiral." The main screen activated suddenly. General Kim appeared again, now wearing what appeared to be a modified version of Bekdu battle armor. Behind her stood other human military leaders. "Admiral Day," she said. "We intercepted your surrender message." Day leaned forward. "Then you accept you'll stop this attack?" General Kim's expression remained cold. Unfortunately, after reviewing the records of your bombardment against Earth civilian centers, certain factions of our leadership voted against acceptance. Please, Dai said, all pride now gone. We understand our error. The Confederacy acknowledges your right to exist freely. Understanding comes too late, another human leader replied. You were warned about humanity, Admiral. You chose not to listen. The transmission cut off as the bunker shook with nearby explosions. Day turned to the soldier. How long until they reach us? Hours, maybe less, the young officer replied. Our remaining forces can't stop them. On another screen, Day watched recordings from the surface. Human soldiers moved through Bekdu cities with terrible efficiency. Unlike the Bekdu, who relied on technology and precision, the humans fought with a combination of advanced weapons and primitive brutality. They could function through pain, exhaustion, and fear in ways the Bekdu could not understand. Even more disturbing were the human scientists who followed the soldiers. They collected samples and data, learning everything about Bekdu civilization. They studied while they destroyed. Admiral, Hana's voice returned, now breaking with static. The humans have found our central data archives. They're downloading our entire cultural and scientific history. Why would they do that if they mean to destroy us? Day wondered aloud. I believe they want to understand what they're erasing, Hana replied. They study their enemies even as they eliminate them. Another explosion, much closer, shook dust from the ceiling. The lights flickered. Admiral, the soldier said, we should move to the final shelter. This position will be overrun soon. Day waved him away. There is nowhere left to hide. The council was right about the humans. He opened a drawer in his desk and removed a small device, a direct communication link to the Galactic Council. It had remained unused since the invasion began. Now he activated it, sending an emergency signal. The response came almost immediately, but it wasn't what he hoped for. The council's message was brief. As previously stated, the Bekdu Confederacy faces the consequences of its actions alone. The council will not intervene in a conflict you initiated against our explicit warning. Dai closed his eyes as the bunker shook again. On the screens, he could see human forces approaching the government district. Their weapons cut through Bekdu defenses as if they were made of paper. The humans have broken into the central command network, Hana reported, her voice now barely audible through interference. They're shutting down our remaining defense systems one by one. The main door to the bunker shuddered under sudden impact. The sound of cutting tools filled the room. They're here, the young soldier whispered. Admiral Day stood straightening his uniform one last time. On the screens around him, he watched the fall of his civilization, a mighty interstellar empire brought to its knees in less than one Earth year by a species they had considered primitive. The door began to glow red as human cutting equipment burned through the metal. Day faced it, preparing to meet the beings he had so fatally underestimated. The council was right, he said quietly to himself. When threatened, humans don't break. They evolve. The great observation chamber of the Galactic Council glowed with soft blue light. 17 representatives from the oldest and most advanced civilizations in the galaxy sat in a perfect circle, watching the final moments of the Bekdu Confederacy unfold on the massive viewing screen. Elder Park, the ancient head of the council, stroked his long white beard as he observed the human ships moving through what remained of Bekdu territory. In less than one Earth year, the humans had not only defended their planet, but had conquered an empire that spanned multiple star systems. The extinction event is nearly complete, Counselor Sun announced, his aged fingers moving across a data panel. The humans have occupied 4 of the 5 Bekdu homeworlds. The 5th will fall within days. Such rapid adaptation defies all previous models, said Counselor Moon, the youngest member of the council. They mastered Bekdu technology in months, not centuries. The screen shifted to show human scientists examining captured Bekdu ships. They worked with focused intensity, taking apart advanced systems and rebuilding them with modifications that even the council's experts found surprising. They don't think like other species, Elder Park observed. They make connections others miss. They embrace risk when threatened. Counselor Yoon, who had initially argued against warning the Baekdu about humans, looked troubled. Should we be concerned about our own security? If humans could defeat the Baekdu so quickly, what might they do if they perceive us as a threat? Elder Park shook his head slowly. The humans only attacked after the Baekdu invaded their world. All our observations suggest they prefer peaceful contact when possible. The screen changed again to show General Kim standing on the bridge of a new vessel, larger than anything humans had possessed before the war. It combined Earth designs with Baekdu technology in ways that seemed impossible just months earlier. They're already building their own interstellar fleet, Counselor Sun noted. At this rate, they'll be capable of reaching Council space within 5 years. We must establish formal contact before they discover our monitoring stations, Counselor Moon suggested. If they detect our observation platforms and believe we are spying on them, they might react defensively. The room fell silent as Elder Park stood and walked to the center of the chamber. His position as head of the council was based on thousands of years of wisdom. When he spoke, even the oldest members listened carefully. We will approach the humans not as subjects but as equals, he declared. Revise all first contact protocols. Any species that can defeat the Baekdu Confederacy in mere months cannot be treated as developing. What of the remaining Baekdu? Asked Counselor Yoon. Should we offer them protection? Elder Park's expression remained neutral. They defied our direct warning. The consequences are theirs to bear. The council members watched as human ships moved through the ruins of the Idar, once proud Baekdu Empire, where most conquering species would simply destroy. The humans were already rebuilding, transforming Baekdu worlds rather than simply occupying them. Prepare a delegation, Elder Park instructed. Select our most experienced diplomats. First contact with humanity must be handled with extreme care. Counselor Sun opened an ancient data file. We should review our earliest observations of Earth. Perhaps there were signs we missed. Images of human history appeared on the screen. Their wars, their art, their rapid technological development. From primitive tools to space travel in a mere few thousand years, far faster than any other known species. Their potential exceeds all predictions, Counselor Moon observed, both for creation and destruction. Elder Park nodded. That is why we must approach carefully. We offer friendship, knowledge exchange, and mutual respect, never threats or demands. The final report was being prepared as they spoke. Counselor Sun read from the draft. The extinction of the Baekdu Confederacy serves as definitive evidence that species 3781 Sol, humans, possesses unique threat alliance potential beyond standard metrics. Their capacity for innovation when threatened creates an evolutionary pressure unlike any previously documented. On the screen, General Kim stood before a gathering of human leaders. They had united their previously divided planet to face the Baekdu threat. Now they stood together, planning their future among the stars. They will reshape the galaxy, Elder Park said quietly. The question is whether they will do so as our allies or our successors. In Earth orbit, General Kim looked out from the bridge of humanity's first true interstellar vessel. Built with knowledge gained from their defeated enemy, it represented a new chapter in human history. The ship's name was painted in large letters across its hull. Defiance. Behind her, engineers and scientists worked on plans for more ships. Diplomats prepared for possible contact with other alien civilizations. Military leaders studied the star maps taken from Baekdu archives. Humanity had been tested by fire and had not only survived but emerged stronger. The universe had suddenly become much larger, and humanity was ready to claim its place among the stars. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.